the biggest memory, winning the Grey Cup here 2 years ago. Ticats, Bombers, and Tyreek McAllister is back to receive the opening kickoff from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as the Hall of Fame game is underway. And that is up across the 40 for Sean Thomas Erlington on the return. And so on comes Taylor Powell, who seems to be getting better every game. His best performance coming in that victory, a narrow one against the Red Blacks in Ottawa last week.
Yeah, very impressive. Just the poise with which he threw the football. I think a lot of people felt like the Tiger Cats offense was going to be heavily run-driven, particularly after their win against BC, and James Butler had a big game in that one, but Powell looked good, looked confident throwing the ball down the field, particularly to Tim White last week.
White had a great game against the Red Blacks. 7 catches, 180 yards, couple of touchdowns, swinging out to Tyreek McAllister. Not only their star returner, but getting a lot of business as a slot back as well, as we take a look at that Tiger Cat offense today.
And we look at the offensive line once again. You have Murray getting the start at right tackle. Spent last season on the Indianapolis Colts practice roster after a previous stint in Hamilton. And, of course, Tim White, the hottest receiver in the Canadian Football League. Right now, over 200 yards for him over his last couple of games. An absolute monster last week in the nation's capital. McAllister picked up 4. It's a 2nd and 6 at the Hamilton 47. The Hall of Fame game just underway. And Powell throwing on that 2nd down. And he completes it, too. And that is Terry Godwin on the receiving end. The new receivers with the Ticats in his 2nd year. Yeah, Godwin lined up outside on this one, matching up against Demario Houston. Nice route, gets the hips of the DB turned. Ball thrown on time, nice effort. And the Ticats out of the gate here. And they were out of the gate fast a year ago in this Hall of Fame game. A year ago tomorrow, Dane Evans was the quarterback, threw 5 touchdowns in that stunning victory by Hamilton, 48-31 over Winnipeg. And now on the ground, it is James Butler. Speculation he wouldn't be able to play, a game-time decision, but there he is with his first carry and a short pickup on 1st down. And as we take a look at the Bomber D, you'll notice Jackson Jeffcoat out of the lineup this week. Celestin Haba, the rookie, gets the start at defensive end. Adam Bighill, of course, in the middle of the action. Veteran middle linebacker, big-time playmaker and leader for this team. And in the secondary, we talk a lot about the production of Demario Houston, the development of Evan Holm. Not enough is said about how good a player Dietrich Nichols is at that boundary halfback spot. Butler got 2, 2nd and 8. Ticats, first possession of this game. As Powell gets rid of it and completes another one. It's Tim White with his first catch. Close to 300 yards in 2 games going Labor Day Monday and then against the Red Blacks in Ottawa last week. And here you see White lining up out wide, working against Winston Rose. DB loses his footing, which allows White to gain a little bit of separation. They get him set up out to that side of the field. Create a little bit of space for their top receiver to work one-on-one. So good drive going here for Taylor Powell to open things up. They're down to a 1st and 10 at the Winnipeg 27. As Powell stands under center. Hands it off to Butler. Finds some space. Brandon Alexander, the one to take him down, but not before a pickup of about 5 more yards. Mentioned those 2 weeks, Dwayne, for Tim White, and what a show he put on against the Red Blacks last week, but not bad numbers for 2 starts. Yeah, no, he's been absolutely terrific. And you know, you heard Matthew Shinetti talk to Tim White in the pregame about that growing relationship between he and Taylor Powell as quarterback. And these are 2 guys who certainly have made their way onto the same page very quickly. On 2nd down and 6. And Haba gets to Powell. Dwayne mentioned Haba coming in for the injured Jackson Jeffcoat, and he picks up his 4th sack of the season. Hasn't played in a while. It's his 7th game. Yeah, you'll see Haba coming from the right side of your screen. He gets free here, and this is a guy, I've been intrigued by him since the preseason. Head coach Mike O'Shea talked about him as a guy who came into camp, was a quick study, learned things, learned the system in rapid fashion. And in flashes has definitely shown that he can be a very effective pass rusher in this league. Does a lot of different things well as a rusher. That one, of course, an easy one, as he was the unblocked man. And Mark Leggio, the former Bomber, gets the chance to put the first points on the board, and he does from 32
explosive start for the Ticats, but it stops with a field goal try thanks to that man, Haba, with his 4th sack of the season.
All are both over 100 yards through the air.
So here is possession number 1. Brady Oliveira, talk about a brilliant game. He had the first touchdown in that onslaught against the Riders. He slips and falls on that first down carry.
And there you see the numbers on the season for Zach Collaros. Back-to-back reigning MVP. Most outstanding player here in the Canadian Football League, University of Cincinnati product. Began his career in 2012 as a member of the Toronto Argonauts.
Interesting note by the panel, too, talking about Collaros being Hamilton's starting quarterback the last time the Bombers won here. That was 6 years ago as Collaros completes that one for a first down. Winnipeg up across their own 50 to Dalton Schoen.
And Schoen just continues to produce here in his 2nd season in the Canadian Football League. Zone coverage. Great view with the spider camera there of the gap between defenders. He's got a little bit of space to work. Just sits it down.
In his 2nd year at Kansas State, Rookie of the Year in the CFL last year, and he has been terrific as a soft on the ground. Nick Dempsey with a rare carry as he gets it up across midfield. He had a quieter week last week with just a catch as we take a look at that potent Bomber offense.
Yes, sir, and along that offensive line, Patrick Neufeld, the right guard, the longest serving member of this Bomber offense, acquired from Saskatchewan in a 2013 trade. Nick Dembski, we just saw him carry the football. Quiet week for him amidst all the offensive fireworks last week. Limited to just 1 catch for 8 yards. So looking for a big day from the University of Manitoba grad today.
He's had several of those. He has a pickup of 3 yards, a 2nd and 7 here. From the Hamilton 54. That one a bit too far for the intended receiver, Kenny Lawler. He had a touchdown last week in the Vancouver. But it's 3rd down and 7 coming up here as the Ticat defense holds strong.
And you'll see Lawler work up, then across the field. He had Nick Dembski going the other way, sort of clearing things out for him. But nice coverage from Kenneth George Jr., the 1st-year corner for Hamilton.
And McAllister is back along with Godwin. 2 returners back here for this punt by Australian Jamison Sheen. Standing inside the Winnipeg 45. Heading McAllister's way. As he's taken down there around the 24. Well, Powell's 2nd possession. First one went down for a Ticat field goal.
Interception ratio certainly stands out, and the growth is apparent. It's evident watching him, and certainly the numbers support it.
8 touchdowns to 4 picks overall. Last week, 21 of 32, 336, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions in their victory over the Ottawa Redblacks. They do the reverse. It's Tim White with it. Heading to the right side, sweeping around as a first down and more. Tim White breaks free. And Demario Houston finally holds him down inside the Winnipeg 35.
Absolutely love the backfield action on this play to get the defense flowing to their right. Left side on your screen, you're going to see quarterback Taylor Powell goes this way, running back James Butler comes that way, as does the offensive line. You'll see Tim White coming back the other way, and the defense just unable to redirect. McAllister with that pitch route. Receivers doing a nice job blocking to turn that one into a big play.
52-yard gain to get it inside the 35. And on first down, just about a yard or so. But let's take another look at how that was all set up in the reverse to Tim White.
Yeah, and I had initially thought that it was Butler going left. It was Tyreek McAllister coming around behind, so looking like it was going to be sweep to McAllister. This is a great key breaker going back the other way, because so often you see McAllister in the backfield and you think he's getting the ball on some sort of receiver run or sweep.
Scott Milanovich about a month ago taking over from Tommy Condell as the offensive coordinator. 2nd and 8 now after just that 2-yard pickup. Powell's forced out of the pocket. He rolls to his right, and he dumps it off there, and Sean Thomas Erlington has it. And he is taken down just shy of the 10 by Brandon Alexander.
by Sean Thomas Erlington. First it's a block on the end, knocks him down, and then chips out into the flat to receive the pass. That helps out. Boom. You done. Leaves his man on the ground, and then sneaks out into the flat where he's wide open to pick up the pass from Powell.
Powell 4 for 4, 60 yards, and they mark it right at the 10, so it is a first and goal. For the Ticats, up 3 and looking for more. Taken down after about 3 yards there. Ricky Walker in on the tackle. Butler himself last week in a quieter game compared to the weeks before, 14 carries for 35 yards against the Red Blacks.
And a lot of talk this year, of course, about how good Ottawa has been against the run, limiting Butler to 2.5 yards a pop. But Hamilton was able to adjust offensively and cash in with a number of big plays through the air.
Second and goal. Here we go now for Powell. From the Winnipeg 6. Looks into the end zone. Touchdown. Terry Godwin. Caught it actually about the 2 and took it in. And this Tiger Cat offense has been all business so far in the Hall of Fame game.
Where's the baby? Where's the baby?
Look for Terry Godwin here. He's lined up tight to the line, to the box here, right next to the offensive tackle. Quick under, they're late to follow. And just that split-second delay for Demario Houston to get there as he's protecting the outside of the field. By the time he gets down to where Godwin is, the pass has been completed.
5 plays, 86 yards. In just over 3 minutes, the point after by Leggy on shades of the 2022 Hall of Fame game where the Ticats scored early and often, stunning the Blue Bombers. Possession 2 and more points on the board. And a touchdown there for Godwin, his 3rd of the season, 10-0 Hamilton.
Creativity on offense, different way to put the ball in the hands of Tim White. That's a 50-plus yard run. That was the biggest play. And then getting the ball to Sean Thomas Erlington, running back in the flat, pushing it deep into Bomber territory before Powell finds Terry Godwin. About the 2-yard line, he punches it in for the Cats' first major of the day.
So Leggio on the kickoff, taken by Jamal Parker for Winnipeg. As it gets taken down and up around at the 37. There's Zach Collaros and that Bomber offense.
In my mind, I still haven't processed looking at it and, you know, the gravity of what it means. I appreciate everything I've done, and I never take full credit for anything I do. But I'm not going to be just looking at me. I'm looking at 21, 22 years of football. You know what I mean? Not just what I did in the CFL, but what I did in university, what I did in the indoor football league, you know, all of those players. I'm looking into those eyes too, because whether I remember their names personally or not, every player that I played with shaped me. You know what I mean? They did something to affect me into being here at this moment.
And speaking of the players that put John Bowman in this moment, he was thinking about guys like Billy Parker, who had an interception in the 98th Grey Cup, who got him one of his rings. Alan Michael Cash, one of his best friends on the defensive line, and of course his twin brother, who Rod gifted one of his Grey Cup rings to.
Such a touching gesture, Matthew. Thank you for that. And John Bowman, of course, can't be here at this game today. Back getting ready with the BC Lions for the Red Blacks later today in this doubleheader. You know, Collaros' last pass nearly intercepted. Deep look here. He's got Nick Dembski. And you know the Bombers are capable of this. They're down 10, but they strike fast. And with Dembski, they're down inside the Ticat 25.
Well, we mentioned Dembski had the quiet week last week, and you had a little bit of a sense that there would be a big bounce back here. Let's take a look first at the protection. Oliveira doing a nice job coming across the formation to help secure things, and a perfectly thrown ball from Zach Collaros. Great adjustment here by Dembski, taking this one in over his shoulder for a massive gain down to the Ticats' 23-yard line.
A 50-yard gain. Collaros to Dembski. 23. And completes another one down near the 10 and still on the move. That's Dalton Schoen with another catch in this game. And another first down, first and goal coming up here for Winnipeg.
Well, it's been said so many times this year with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and that receiving core, there is just a plethora of riches. So many options for Zach Collaros, so difficult for defensive coordinators to know where to put their focus in terms of trying to shut down this attack. Just endless weapons across the board.
He kept chugging too after he caught that ball with Stavros Katsantonis on him. So here we go, first and goal, Brady Oliveira. Down just inside the 5 for Oliveira. Up against this Ticats starting defense.
Yeah, and that defense includes the former Bomber, Casey Sales, making the start at defensive tackle alongside Ted Laurent. And the linebacking core, Simone Lawrence, big game last week, 8 tackles for him, one of his more active games of the season. In the secondary, you heard Davis Sanchez mention this in the pregame. Both strong side or wide side starters in that secondary, Tunde Adeleke and Richard Leonard, both down in this game. So it's Lawson and Woods getting the start. That's also the Ticats' 2 most experienced DBs by a wide margin out of this game.
You see on the right side of that D-line, Jagarrett Davis is in. Second and goal! Touchdown! Winnipeg! And it's Dembski who had the biggest play of this drive a couple of plays earlier, capping it off as the Bombers get right back into this game.
And Nick Dembski coming up big on this drive. You see him on the right-hand side of your screen, working out of the slot. He's going to work across the field underneath. Just a quick hitter, Collaros to Dembski for the major.
His 6th touchdown of the season. With the point after coming up here from Sergio Castillo. Castillo, it's heading right. And no, he missed it to the right. So they got 6 on the board, and that'll be it as it's taken out here by McAllister. And he's still going. Tyreek McAllister could pick up a couple of points here for the Ticats. So denying the 1 point, getting 2 points on the missed convert taken all the way back the other way. And there's a 3-point swing Hamilton's way after that touchdown, and it's a 12-6 game.
Well, that's it. As you said, 3-point swing, just as good as a field goal, and the ball is still coming back to your team. We've had an indication as you see that one just wide right. And McAllister, closest the Bombers came was right here. Just as McAllister got past the goal line, then he had a lane all the way down that right side. Taking that one to the house. You know, it feels like it should be worth more than 2 points, doesn't it?
All that effort. I was going to say, he still does not have a return touchdown in the CFL, although he has found the house now for a couple of points. The head coach, Mike O'Shea, liking the fact that the offense quickly went down and got a touchdown, but likes nothing after that, I'm sure. McAllister, who leads the CFL in kickoff return average yardage.
We'll take one more look at the Nick Dembski touchdown. You see a motion from the backfield. Use that waggle. Inside position on the defender. And Collaros threads the needle.
And by the way, that earlier one, the 50-yarder, was the 10th of 30-plus to lead the way in the CFL this season for Nick Dembski. A couple of big catches in that run. The return, after a long return for 2 points. Taylor Powell coming back on, and each possession has resulted in a score. First a field goal, and then a touchdown for the Ticats, who lead it by 6.
And you saw the trade-off there of Tyreek McAllister having taken that convert back, missed convert for 2 points for Hamilton. He, of course, is exhausted, so isn't going to go right back out there on kickoff return. Injuries in the secondary led the Ticats to dress Lawrence Woods as a DB. He's their other returner, led the CFL in punt return average last year, so not a bad backup to have.
From the Hamilton 48. Alexander takes him down, but into Bomber territory at about the Winnipeg 51, and looks like it'll be enough for a first down on the ground for the Cats.
And you'll get a great look here once again from the Spider Cam on the vision and the patience of James Butler in the backfield to the right of his quarterback. Nothing up the middle, bounce, bounce, and then a nice cut inside to get north-south and pick up that first down yardage.
Last play of the first quarter is coming up. And a good quarter for Steinauer's Tiger Cats overall, as they have the lead right now. And they have the ball in the Bomber zone with Powell, the pass on first down, which he does, and he gets it down just inside the Ticat 45. 15 minutes in the books in the Hall of Fame game. And the Ticats make a good impression on offense before the Bombers come back. We're going to talk to one of the Hall of Famers coming up here in the CFL on TSN. A couple of Grey Cups back in 09 and 2010. Josh Burke, pleased to welcome him to the booth now, and let's talk about this. A moment that I don't know if you dreamt of, Josh, back in your playing days, but what did it mean to you, that the bust, everything else, the honor of being in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, well, I think they did a heck of a job with the bust. I think I look pretty good. I look pretty good 6 years later after retirement. But no, you know what, Rod? It was tremendous. Been a tremendous weekend. CFL has done a heck of a job putting on some really great festivities. Able to enjoy with the friends and family, and just very humbled, man. Very humbled to be able to include myself in so many great names.
And one of those names that you're included with, former teammate, good friend of yours. I know John Bowman being there as well. What did it mean to you to go in the same time as John?
It meant a lot to myself, and I know John as well, just because we played many years together. So to be able to go in together was a very special moment for both of us.
Taylor Powell completes that one for a first down to Omar Bayless with 4 catches in his first start in the Ticats offense. But we got your reaction on camera, Josh, of seeing that for the first time. Have a look in the monitor here, and we can tell you liked it. And not everybody does, but yeah, you saw the likeness and you enjoyed seeing it.
Well, I got a little nervous before because Olivier, who used to be one of the media guys in Montreal, told me I'm going to be happy with the hair. So I wasn't sure if they're going to go with the old school hair, the long hair I had for a couple years. And then I remembered that I took the pictures and sent them to myself. So it was awesome. Great to see. 1st and 10 at the Winnipeg
28. Taylor Powell for some start. That one goes incomplete. Intended for Godwin, who has the touchdown in this game for Hamilton. We flash back now. Josh Burke and some great Montreal Alouette teams, especially those championship years, I'm sure, that are the fondest memories of all. Beating the Saskatchewan Roughriders in 09 and again in 2010.
Yeah, it was a heck of a ride, definitely being out here today, it's been an awesome experience, and I certainly missed the game, but I missed the guys, right, and the camaraderie and all that. It's been great to connect with a bunch of guys this weekend.
Powell looked like he connected there with Keandre Smith, but does not hang on right down at the Bomber 20, so a 3rd down coming up, and Mark Leggio will come on to see if they can turn this from a 6-point lead into a 2-score game.
Well, I know we talked a little bit about your football family, but your family, I know, was out in force last night, and I know your mom in particular, your biggest fan. We saw her in the stands often at Molson Stadium, but tell me what she's meant to your career and to share that with her last night.
Yeah, it was amazing. My mom has been there since day one, through all the tough times, the ups and downs, and she never missed a game at Molson Percival Stadium over the years. So it was great to spend that moment with her, and I share this honor with her. She's a huge part of it.
Josh Burke, all those scrimmages with John Bowman, and who knew then it was 2 future Hall of Fames. Congratulations, Josh.
Appreciate it.
And glad you could come up and join us now.
Absolutely.
Josh
Thanks
Burke,
for having me.
Hall of Famer, inducted last night here at Tim Hortons Field. We got a game, second quarter. Ticats John Bowman, who's got a game to worry about later today. The Bombers. And that's in the hands of Rasheed Bailey on that carry inside. They're now trailing by 9 points after the latest field goal.
And love to see a receiver on the run dropping that shoulder going into contact. Rasheed Bailey delivers a blow there. Kenneth George did well to hang on and bring him down.
Last possession, big play to Nick Dembski. And a couple of plays later was a touchdown. Dembski missed extra point with it returned all the way for 2 for Hamilton. It's inside for Oliveira up across the 50. He only needed a couple of yards. He got that. And a first down for Winnipeg.
Well, Brady Oliveira continuing to have a tremendous 2023 season, particularly on the ground. You look at where he ranks in so many rushing categories. Yeah, he's the league leader.
Not much doubt about it. Just look at that row on the right. Yeah, he's first in a whole lot of things, and he looked like he was on a mission early in that game. The whole team did in the rematch against the Riders in the Banjo Bowl, making quite a statement against their biggest rival. The Winnipeg 51. Collaros escapes the pocket. He's being chased. Casey Sales, the ex-Bomber, after him as he's forced to throw it out of bounds, and a 2nd and 10 coming up.
Live to fight another down here. Yeah, Brady Oliveira, the rushing numbers obviously pop out at you, but he's been very good as a receiver and pass protection as well. And that's something that has certainly become a strength of his over the course of his career. Really noticeable this year.
Saw Casey Sales a moment ago win a couple of rings as a member of the Bombers up against his old team now, and that concern, number 20. So 2nd and 10 though at the Winnipeg 51 is Collaros to quickly throw. Wide open is shown, and he is knocked down inside the Hamilton 25 by Lawrence Woods. But the top receiver of Winnipeg finds a way to get open again, and another big play.
Yeah, and watch for Schoen coming from the right side of your screen, going into that big gap. Nothing but green field ahead of him. Collaros throws it into the space. Schoen goes and gets it for a big pickup. That's working to that wide side of the field, where, as Ches mentioned, a little less experience for the Ticats in what is not an experienced secondary to begin with.
You mentioned those changes on the wide side of the field with Woods in and Dexter Lawson in at field half, and Schoen coming into the week 2nd to Austin Mack in receiving yards in the CFL and 1st in receiving touchdowns. 1st and 10. Ticat 25. Off to the left, going up and getting it. Kenny Lawler. No, they say no.
Yeah, we'll take a look. Lawler lined up out wide on this one. Elevates to go get it. Into the body. If there was a point at which he trapped it, we couldn't see it from that angle. We'll see if there's anything different here. I mean, that
Winnipeg is challenging the ruling of a completed pass. We'll review the play.
Looked like he had controlled the ball, just a matter of if he had trapped it, as you said, but it looked like one hand was underneath as he went down, and it's a vintage style of Lawler catch, too. Going up and high pointing it. Decision coming up from the command. Lawler going up high on this one from Collaros. Looks like he had a control of it coming down, though, but it does touch the ground, and this is the ruling from the command center.
After review by the command center, the ruling on the field stands. Winnipeg will be charged a timeout.
Lawler doesn't like it. They had called it no catch because of that, and so the Bombers lose a timeout on that challenge, and it remains 2nd and 10 at the 25.
Yeah, and this is going to sound like a contradiction, but I believe that Lawler had control of this ball between his hands the whole time, but you can see why they have to call it a trap, because at one point, even though it's between his hands, that ball, the tip of it hits the field.
Pump fake. To the end zone. Collaros. Touchdown. And look who gets it.
Take that.
The one denied the catch before gets a bigger one to put 6 more on the board for Winnipeg. Touchdown, Kenny Lawler.
Yeah, you had a feeling that Kenny Lawler would have his revenge. Get a look here. Watch for him down that right side. He and Schoen lined up on the same side. Double move in and up on Lawrence Woods and over the top as they again attack that wide side of the field.
So Castile will come on and try another extra point. Missing his last one, the 5th one he has missed in 48 tries this season. And this one is straight through. So it's a 7 on the board total for Winnipeg and 13 now within 2 of the Ticats as Winnipeg once again proves its ability to strike quickly.
Yeah, and here you'll see Kenny Lawler on the outside. Comes up, sells that in a little bit, and then heads back upfield. Catches the DB flat-footed on that in move. There's the stutter and break. Turns it up. Lawrence Woods trying to play catch-up, but by then the ball is on its way. The touchdown pass, Zach Collaros to Kenny Lawler.
That was the 6th play of that drive, covering 70 yards and 317. And the Ticats offensively have taken their time going down the field effectively. Winnipeg not using as much time on the clock, but equally effective at this point now, just 2 points behind in this game. The difference being a missed convert returned all the way back to the end zone by Tyreek McAllister. Touchdown number 6 on the season receiving for Kenny Lawler. McAllister on the return. Well, he was the commissioner of the CFL for 5 years, instrumental as well in the Alouettes' return to Montreal starting in 1997. Larry Smith, now a Hall of Famer, and joined by Matthew.
Let me add a few more things to that list. The first overall pick in 1972, a running back who won 2 Grey Cups with the Alouettes. The commissioner, the president of the Alouettes when they won a further 2 Grey Cups in 09 and 10. That's a lot. And you had a distinguished career off the field, but what has the CFL meant to you?
Well, it was a dream when I was a youngster. My goal was to be a Canadian running back who could start. I achieved those goals. Played with some great players, great coaches. Marv Levy was a super guy. And then to be able to go on to the commissioner's job was a great opportunity to try to make sure we could protect the survival of the league. It was so important, not for Canadians, but for everyone. And then running the Alouettes with Bob Whittenhall as the owner was just a great thrill because he gave me a lot of space. We had great support staff. We had great coaches. And really, we were able to follow a way of winning mentality, and at the same time do good things in the community. This is about community, the CFL, and it's a great strength to have, and I think we did a good job with it.
Talk about community. You were part of bringing the Alouettes back in the mid-90s. How important is Montreal to the CFL?
Well, I can tell you as a player, it was critically important to me, and as the president of the Alouettes and as the commissioner, we had to get Montreal back to create that stability. Bob Whittenhall came in, David Braley was leaving, but David told me, I want to buy Toronto and BC when I come back. Make sure you stay close to me. That laid the seeds for the Ottawa group to come in, and then for the Toronto group to take over, and then for Bob Young to come into Hamilton. All these things laid seeds. So at a point in time, we had to do what we did, and we were able to do it successfully.
Love the passion. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Taylor Powell taking off here in a first down. Inside the 50, Winnipeg. Great to hear. I still think of him as the commissioner. Back in my reporter days, I had so many interviews with Larry Smith, and there he is. And I remember him, too, as a running back. Wore 36 with the Alouettes. He was a linebacker back then and wore 39 by the name of Wally Buono. And their old teammate Gordon Judges once told me their nicknames when they're players. Wally Buono's was Coach, the coach, and his nickname, believe it or not, was the commish.
Yeah, some pretty good foresight in that old Montreal dressing room, no doubt. But Larry Smith in particular, a lifetime spent bettering the state of the CFL and Canadian football in general. Just a tremendous career.
Absolutely. And the bust will reside here at Tim Hortons Field in the Hall of Fame of Larry Smith. Enshrined last night, an event that Dwayne Ford emceed, as he does every year.
That's one of my favorites on the calendar every year. Always great people involved, and terrific to see the inductees with their families, friends, support staff, etc. It's yeah, one of the best on the CFL calendar.
After the Butler carry, Hamilton has a first down in Bomber territory. There's a fake, and the intended receiver is White, and Evan Holm is covering him, and just beyond his reach, so it falls down for a 2nd and 10.
And pretty good matchup there between Tim White and Evan Holm, who has emerged as really one of the breakout players in the Canadian Football League this year, his 2nd season with the Bombers. Got to think, on a Winnipeg defense that includes Willie Jefferson, Adam Bighill, Demario Houston, this is the guy that leads this team in defensive plays made this year.
That's remarkable. Encompassing all the defensive stats of picks, knockdowns, interceptions, or mentioning that. Sacks too. Here's White in the receiving end. Winston Rose taking him down just close to the 25. This Holm is a bit of a bear hug on him there too, but Hamilton on the move. Another first down for the Ticats.
Once again, good protection gives Powell time to set up and deliver to his go-to guy, Tim White. Just gets the DB running. Once his hips are flipped, breaks it off and comes back to that football.
1st and 10. Winnipeg 27, a 2-point Ticat lead. Butler left and gets inside down to about the 21 for one of the rushing leaders. 4th in the CFL in rushing yards coming into this game, James Butler.
Yeah, some ups and downs certainly in terms of production for James Butler and the Ticats running game this season, but a guy who is always a threat, and his presence certainly has helped Taylor Powell.
From the Bomber 21, Powell quickly off to the left to Tim White. Inside the 10 before he's taken down. Dietrich Nichols there along with Brandon Alexander. Down around the 5, and we have a 1st and goal coming up again inside the 5 of the Ticats.
And you see Taylor Powell's eyes close up there looking to Tim White right away. His first read on the play, he delivers a strike. Puts the Cats in great scoring position here at the Winnipeg 4-yard line.
Taylor Powell is 10 of 13 for 141 yards and a touchdown pass. That was to Godwin. 1st and goal at the Winnipeg 4. Looking for more. Butler. Down to the 3, the 2, 2nd and goal coming up.
The Tiger Cats standing in there swinging with one of the top teams in the Canadian Football League, the West Division leading Winnipeg Blue Bombers. You see the numbers. And James Butler here in his 1st year in black and gold, riding over a quarter of their offensive yards.
Ticats' 4th possession. They've scored in the previous 3. Driving, breaks the plane, touchdown Hamilton. Rushing touchdown of the season for the Ticats, James Butler.
Yeah, a great look here right down the goal line. He just needs to break the plane of that front edge, field side edge of the goal line. He's got just enough. The official in perfect position to see it. There you'll see nose of the ball didn't get all the way into the end zone, but it's across that front edge to extend this Tiger Cat lead.
Hamilton's 4 possessions in this game so far. Field goal, touchdown, field goal, touchdown. And Leggio looking to put the 22nd point on the board now for the Ticats. A negative 9-point lead once again. James Butler finishes it off. And once again, we got a game in this Hall of Fame showdown.
obviously early in the ball game, but there's just no sense of panic in the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The team that's been through some struggles this year. They're playing with a level of confidence, and I think it begins with the guy under center.
There's Johnny Augustine on the return. He gets it up to the Winnipeg 40. Off the kick by Mark Leggio, and on comes Zach Collaros, 7 of 11 for 148 yards. He's got a couple of touchdown passes in this game.
Yeah, Zach Collaros certainly finding his stride in the second quarter of this ball game, spreading the ball around, a number of big plays to his variety of receivers. We've seen Dembski with a big one, Lawler, the most recent Winnipeg touchdown, Dalton Schoen finding his way down the seams a couple of times in this ball game. Extra O-lineman in the game right now. They often use maximum protection sets.
Feeling his way through up across the 45. With the 3-minute warning officially coming up, 2:52 in the clock until halftime, and we'll hear a lot more from Kate and the panel on site here in the Hall of Fame. Looks, there it is, our director Andy Boyukas, and he's got all the toys at his disposal and just some great shots from everyone here.
Is that a drone? I was told that was the TSN blimp.
Yes, the TSN blimp. 2nd and 6 at the Winnipeg 45. Dembski inside the 20. They strike fast, they strike big, and they strike again to get it close as halftime gets near.
Yeah, why waste time answering the Tiger Cats touchdown? Let's just get down there in a hurry. Nick Dembski matched up against the nickel linebacker Chris Edwards. Out in space, Dembski gets in behind for a monster catch, and you know, not to get off on a tangent in the middle of a drive here for the Blue Bombers, but you know, can we not have a system where Brady Oliveira and Nick Dembski can both be finalists for the most outstanding Canadian? Just saying. I've said it for years.
I hear you. All that Canadian talent. Let's not kid ourselves. There's great Canadian talent all over the league, but those two, wow. And Dembski, another big one, 56 yards. It is Oliveira's turn as he gets it inside the 5. That catch by Dembski, that's now, he leads the way. It's now 11 times this season a catch of 30 plus. What a year he's having. Already over 100 receiving in this game after, as you point out, only 8 yards last week.
Yeah, and I think there's a great understanding amongst the Winnipeg Blue Bombers receivers that there's only one football, there's lots of good players, but being surrounded by other good players in the receiving corps, while it may mean that sometimes your opportunities are limited, those guys are also going to create space and therefore opportunities for you. You're all going to have your turn, and Zach does a great job getting everybody involved.
So here come the Bombers. 2nd and goal. And down goes Collaros. Taken down, Stavros Katsantonis. Hamilton blitzing coming in, and a big defensive play for the Cats as the field goal unit will come on.
Yeah, Stavros Katsantonis, the free safety. You're going to see him come from depth on this one. He's going to sneak up from behind that goalpost into the play. He's hiding back there. Hits the A-gap, unblocked, timed it perfectly. 2nd sack of the year for the UBC product. Katsantonis, a great story to me is this is a guy who now in his 3rd year, but led the Tiger Cats in special teams tackles last year and has basically created a situation where he's earned his way onto the field. They had to get him in that lineup.
Puts it down. Castillo puts it through just outside the 20. So 3 more on the board. And these offenses have been trading as we're down to a 6-point Tiger lead. Still time. 1:27 in the clock. There's Katsantonis with a pick in Ottawa last week and one but 4 days earlier on Labor Day Monday here against the Argos. 3 interceptions on the season. 1 for a touchdown in Edmonton.
And as a young DB in this league, obviously some pretty good mentors on that Hamilton Tiger Cats sideline. Head coach Orlando Steinauer. And of course, defensive coordinator Mark Washington. former DBs in this league.
Steinauer had to coach in 2 Hall of Fame games as they made up for one delayed by COVID in 21, his class, and that was back in June of 22, over a year ago, when he was officially inducted, class of 21, as a player. Powell to take off, and not much room there as he's taken down after a pickup of 1 or 2. The chance to talk to these Hall of Famers, to Larry Smith on the left and Lloyd Fairbanks and Solomon Elimimian. We're going to have a chance to talk to him later. Jacques Dussault, Larry Crawford. There we see Josh Burke in there as well.
Yeah, John Bowman represented by his pops here today. John had to get back.
John's dad, yes, in between there beside Burke and John Bowman's BC Lions getting ready for the Ottawa Red Blacks. Part 2 of the doubleheader later from Vancouver. Pursued by Ricky Walker. Gets rid of it and completes it to Bayless. Omar Bayless. Winston Rose prevents him from going any further. Bayless in his second start at receiver, replacing Duke Williams. So there they are.
And we've mentioned a couple of times John Bowman not here today because he had to get back to BC. Of course, the defensive line coach for the BC Lions. And I love the unique makeup of the unit that he coaches. John Bowman played his entire career in Montreal. His D-line group includes 4 young guys from the province of Quebec on D-line and his former teammate Woody Barron. This is a group he's talking to. There's 4 guys who grew up watching him and a guy that played beside him.
Real Montreal symmetry there on the Lions D up front, which has been outstanding this season, as was their head coach, or their defensive line coach. But as a player, John Bowman, and honored with induction into the Hall of Fame. So Cats have to punt it away. Half a minute to go. And on the return, that's Jamal Parker with a flag coming down. And the way Collaros works, 27 seconds. That's enough time to work your way down the field. They've shown that.
Yeah, I wonder if we might get a no yards call here that shorten the field slightly for the Bombers as well.
Mike O'Shea, remember when he was inducted back in 2017 for his great playing career that actually started here in Hamilton. Later
illegal interference. Hamilton, number 43. 10-yard penalty. Be a first down.
Great special teamer, Carthel Flowers Lloyd, the special teams tackles leader in the CFL, is flagged on that one.
Yeah, he was on his way to being the first man down the field, and a blocker was in front of him with his back turned, hadn't turned to block yet. Flowers Lloyd gave him a chuck in the back, knocked the blocker to the ground, try to open up his path. So that's the illegal interference call. It's going to give the Bombers a slightly shorter field with which to work here.
Up to the 37 they are right now, or let's see, they put it back to, they just moved the sticks now back to the 33. That, by the way, was the first punt by Corey Vedvik of the Ticats. As you look at the penalty.
Yeah, you see Flowers Lloyd as usual leading the way down the field. Cranby, the man in front of him, was getting ready to turn and block, but didn't get a chance.
Under a half minute. Short pass off to Dembski on the right. He gets out of bounds up near a first down for Winnipeg. 20 seconds to go until halftime.
Well, we know Sergio Castillo has a big leg. 53. His longest field goal on the season.
Quickly again to the right. Rasheed Bailey is down shy of the 50. Just needed a few inches to get that first down. They get that 16 seconds. Each of these teams has punted only once in this first half. Offenses have been moving the ball. As the Bombers will try to get a little closer before halftime. 3-man rush. And he just shovels it off. And it is dropped there, incomplete, intended for Oliveira. 9 seconds to go.
And maybe for the best as the Bombers are trying to manage the clock here, that a completion in the middle of the field where they may have a tough time getting out of bounds to stop the clock, or would otherwise have to run a lot of time off to get to the sidelines. Well, it creates second down.
I think they need at least 20 yards here. 9 seconds. Four-man rush. Over the middle. Down goes Bailey, and that's right about the 40, and that's in the range of Castillo. 4 seconds to go as the Bomber kicker will come on the field. See if they can make it a 3-point Ticat lead at the half.
Great execution here. You're going to see Nick Dembski clear out first. He goes deep, and then Bailey kind of comes in behind him into that space vacated by the defenders following Dembski downfield. Terrific focus on that football from Rasheed Bailey as he takes the shot there from Jameer Thurman, the middle linebacker.
Castillo's only missed 2 all season. The longest to 53. Twist from 48. And it's wide left. And McAllister will bring it in. Remember what he did on the missed extra point? Here we go, McAllister with blockers ahead, and he is knocked down on the final play of the half, but not before a rather dangerous ending for the Ticats. Happily taking a 6-point lead into the dressing room. And standing up to Winnipeg again, the Bombers, understandable favorites coming in, but there's something about this game and this place as the Ticats have certainly made it interesting through the first 30.
Well, they sure have. The Hamilton Tiger Cats suggesting that the standings and anything that happened in weeks previous means absolutely nothing here today. They came out swinging. They've been terrific through the first half of this ballgame. The position to score those points, and you heard Matthew and Nick Dembski allude to it in that interview, the long ball. I mean, you look at the time of possession in the first half of this football game, it's like 18 minutes to 12 in Hamilton's favor, but that's because Winnipeg's getting it done with the big play, and we'll kind of see how this second half plays out as to whether it's Winnipeg's defense maybe being on the field for a long time or Hamilton struggling to stop that big play. We'll see which one wins out.
Tyreek McAllister has the ball and has a return going across the 40 before taken out by Evan Holm. As McAllister had a missed convert return all the way to the end zone for 2 points in the first half. Here's Taylor Powell's first half, Dwayne.
Yeah, and playing against a strong and experienced Winnipeg defense, Taylor Powell continues to look mature and poised beyond his years, and you definitely get a feeling when you have the opportunity to talk to Taylor Powell. He even acknowledges he's something of an old soul, but I would describe him as a young veteran in kind of the way that his mind works, the way he thinks the game. He's really settling in quickly here in his first season in the CFL.
It really is a good way of putting it, because his demeanor is like he's been there before. Very modest, too, as he completes that one. Godwin to start off this second half with a completion and a first down for the Ticats up around midfield.
And Terry Godwin getting involved off the hop here. Little play action look with James Butler in that backfield.
Godwin with 3 catches for 38 yards. First and 10, just shy of midfield. Ticats start the second half with a 6-point lead. James Butler going left and going nowhere too. Willie Jefferson in to help out. It's Jake Thomas, the tackle. And Bo Levi Mitchell, who was the #1 quarterback coming in, got hurt twice actually this season. First giving way to Matthew Schultz, then giving way to Taylor Powell. But with all those career passing yards, but frustrated that he's charting right now and then not able to play. Not sure when he's available to play again, but he must be impressed too with the progression of young Taylor Powell.
Yeah, and a guy's Bo who would understand the importance of the tutelage of some veteran quarterbacks around, as he had that early in his career in Calgary.
Out of the pocket, Powell goes on a 2nd and 9. Doesn't run often, but runs effectively and does there for a first down for the Ticats again. Down around the Winnipeg 45.
And this is one of the things that's been fun to see with Taylor Powell is a guy comes into the league and you don't know much about him. Some of your evaluation is just based on statistics in college. This was a guy who didn't have a lot of rushing yards in college, and you get the impression that he's not a mobile quarterback, that he's going to be a stand in the pocket guy, a bit of a statue. But Powell has demonstrated that he's definitely not, and often it's just about opportunity and what the system asks you to do. And here he has an opportunity to run the football. He's asked to do that occasionally. As you've said, Rod, he's done it effectively.
Came off the bench for Matthew Schultz back in week 6. Making his 7th start in his young CFL career, handing off there. A record of 2-4 as a starter, but as mentioned, he has progressively improved with each start. 12 for 15, 158 and a touchdown pass. Short gain for Powell, so another 2nd and long coming up for Butler, excuse me. Here's Scott Milanovich, who heard Matthew Shinetti talking about this earlier in the show. Of course, it worked with Zach Collaros years ago when he came into the league. And now is the OC in Hamilton working with Powell, who bobbles that shotgun snap and recovers, and still gets away from Willie Jefferson, rolling to his left and looking deep. Deep down inside the 5. It was close, and a flag comes out. Intended for Omar Bayless, and a big interference call is coming up.
Pass interference. Winnipeg number 17. Corner foul. Automatic. First down.
And this is a tough one when you're a DB. When a play gets extended to this degree, Taylor Powell on the scramble goes right, curls back left, and then throwing the deep ball. Tough for any defender to stay with a receiver that long. Cramdy trailing Bayless on this one, looking to make a play. You saw him sort of grab the left hand as the ball was en route. Watch him reach. Affects the left arm of the receiver. Official in perfect position to make that call.
And a 40-yard penalty. Bayless, the intended receiver. 1st and goal inside the 5. Powell. Butler, 3, 2, down to the 1. He had barely broke the plane in the first half for a touchdown. A 2nd and goal is coming up. Didn't quite get there. As Kyle Loxley, short yardage quarterback, will come in. The odd quarterback numbers for these Ticats is 0 and an 89.
Well, and they had Mike Glass in the 30s before Matthew Schultz came back.
Pushing, touchdown. Loxley takes it in for his 2nd touchdown of the season as a Tiger Cat.
Great look from above here. Playing a bit of a gap to the right. Loxley powering his way into the end zone, extending that Cats lead to double digits.
As the Ticats start the 2nd half, much the way the first half played out, a 7-play, 67-yard drive for a touchdown, aided in large part by a 40-yard pass interference penalty. Mark Leggio, first couple of seasons as a member of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, his first in Hamilton, and has that point after as the Cats increase their lead again. Touchdown, Loxley. Great. Gary Godwin, Kyle Loxley, talking it over after the latest Ticats touchdown. That has put them in front 29-16 now. Jamal Parker on the return, and coming in quickly to take him down is Jonathan Convo on special teams. Fired up Hamilton club at home. Underdogs against this club, just like they were a year ago, but they're certainly making a statement so far.
Yeah, Zach Collaros, after a big first half last week, has a big first half this week. Nick Dembski, the prime beneficiary, but Collaros is always getting all of his weapons involved. You see Dalton Schoen, Kenny Lawler as well, making big plays in that first half. And big play certainly the theme for Winnipeg in the opening 30.
Tremendous first half. 16 points on the board, and they're trailing. And Collaros, with time, goes to work again, and he completes it across the 40. First catch of the game for Drew Wolotarski. Gets it up to the 50, and a big first down as Winnipeg's offense looks to answer back.
And here you see again extra offensive linemen in the game to the left. They go max protection, allowing this play time to develop. And Wolotarski, maybe sometimes the forgotten man in terms of the hype and publicity of this receiving corps, but he too approaching 500 yards on the season. That's his 33rd catch of 2023.
Collaros working the wide side on that previous play where there were changes in the secondary for Hamilton. Brady Oliveira, another big carry for number 20. Another first down in the Ticat territory inside the 45.
And it's not all by air, of course, with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who have the leading rusher in Brady Oliveira.
Collaros, they work tempo, and that one in behind Dembski, and it falls incomplete, second down. We talk about those first halves. I mean, one for the ages last week in the Banjo Bowl, and this one isn't bad too. Look at these first half numbers in the last two games. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, you patch those two first halves together, and that's a pretty good looking 60 minutes of football from Zach Collaros. You see the QB rating at the bottom. Not expected to be any better.
Adds up to one 60-minute game, those two great first halves, especially last week with 5 touchdown passes, but not too shabby so far here. And this offense is being challenged to keep up to Hamilton as he looks deep again. Watch Dembski. No, falls incomplete with the coverage there by one of the newcomers in the secondary for the Ticats, Dexter Lawson, number 14.
And you'll see the frustration from Nick Dembski as this ball hits the ground, because I think his feeling was whether he misjudged it or maybe with the defender on his back that it kind of brought his momentum further towards the sideline than he wanted. A bit of a missed opportunity there. Would have been a tough catch, obviously a contested catch, but Nick Dembski makes plenty of tough and contested catches.
Jamison Sheehan back to punt it away for just the second time in this game. A low end over in punt and down deep, and beautifully done inside the 10 to stat punters want. Gets it there to keep the Ticats starting deep. Jacques Dussault, just about every level, and so beneficial to the sport in the province of Quebec. Hall of Famer Jacques Dussault now with Matthew.
It's an honor to be next to the coach. We were just talking about it. 55 years in coaching, and I said, you deserve this award. And you were saying, I'm thinking about what that word deserve means when you're happy to get up every day and coach. So 55 years, what does this mean to you?
Don't insist too much on 55 years now. That's pretty tough. I cannot put words on it. The only thing that I know is that it gave me a great chance to see some of the people that I worked with a long time ago, reacquainted a little bit, and to me that's priceless. Obviously, I felt that as the first French Canadian that I could not make a mistake, because they opened the door, and I didn't want that all of a sudden the next one say, we don't want another one with a funny accent who doesn't know what he's doing. So that was the little bit of pressure that I had, but the rest, I really enjoy it, you know.
But to be the first French Canadian, knowing that tomorrow, we were talking about the Caravan and the Rouge et Or will play in front of nearly 19,000 people, is being the first Francophone coach in Canadian football. Is that part of your legacy? Is that the most important thing to you?
No, I think that what's important is that the French-speaking people in Quebec discovered the most beautiful team sport in the world. That's what is, to me, the most important thing. It shows you a lot of things, a lot of skills, not as a football player, but skills that you're going to have to use in life. You know, it means when you go down, you get up, you help your teammate. Now, you know, all those great values that, to me, other sports don't show.
Well said. Merci. Félicitations.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matthew. Congratulations to Jacques Dussault. A terrific career. Hall of Famer. And the Bombers get the ball back right just inside Hamilton territory after a 2-and-out by the Ticats, and Corey Vedvik punting from his end zone.
Yeah, and I'll just say quickly, Jacques Dussault, one of the great gentlemen of the Canadian Football League. I've had the opportunity to talk to him many times over the years, and brilliant football mind, terrific coach, and even better human being. And when you look at the game of football at all levels in this country, I don't think there's any place that it has grown over the past few decades more than the province of Quebec. And Jacques' fingerprints are all over that. You look at new university programs, relatively speaking, at Laval, Montreal, Sherbrooke. He talked about opening the door. He certainly did.
Absolutely. Bomber football. Little fake, and Claros rolls right. He does take off and picks up a few yards to get it inside the Hamilton 50. Looks like about a 2nd and 5 or 2nd and 6 coming up here. And an opportunity now for Mike O'Shea's team after the defense stood up against Hamilton, forced them to punt from their end zone. So good field position as they're down by 13 points. And a Ticat offense that for much of this game has been relentless, putting pressure in effect on this Bomber offense to keep doing what it does. Buck Pierce, the offensive coordinator.
And what a tremendous job Buck Pierce has done in that role.
Here we go on a 2nd and 6. It's complete. And inside the 40 is shown. And that's good for a first down as this drive will continue for Winnipeg.
I think it's so easy for people to look at the Winnipeg offense and overlook Buck Pierce and say, well, yeah, of course, look at the players he's got. It's easy. Putting all those players in the right positions and keeping everybody happy. I think any coach will tell you, if it looks easy, it's because Buck is making it look easy.
Claros and first down complete to Schoen again inside the 30. Kenneth George, Simone Lawrence in on the tackle there. It's close to another first down.
The Tiger Cat defense with that short field under the tutelage of Mark Washington, a guy who, by the way, was coached by Jacques Dussault during his time in Montreal.
2nd and inches. Flags come out after the Bombers got a first down and more with their short yardage QB Dakota Prukop. Helmet went a bit askew.
Offside. Hamilton, number 99. That penalty is declined. First down.
Gerard Hewitt inserted in the Ticat lineup. Whoops. A little sideways there for Prukop. To get his head on straight. They're getting that first down. Declining the penalty inside the 25 now. The 23, 1st and 10 on the toss left. Oliveira breaks a tackle, gets it down closer to the 20 for number 20, pushed out by Jamie and Elliott.
Yeah, short gain there. The Ticats were able to string that one out. Brady never really got his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. Talk about the relative inexperience of this Hamilton secondary with Adeleke and Leonard out of the lineup. Even Elliott listed as a third-year guy, but through his first 2 years in the league in Calgary, he had actually only played in 5 games. So under a full season in terms of game experience for him.
And you got George in his first year, and the boundary intercepted. Jameer Thurman. Or Malik Carney, excuse me, the defensive end dropping back. Intercepts Zach Claros in a big defensive play for the Ticats, and a good return by Malik Carney. He's known for his sacks. This time, he gets a pick. Playing it like a linebacker, and a good return to Hamilton football. 29-16 lead.
that fooled a veteran quarterback.
First career interception for defensive end Malik Carney in his third year out of North Carolina. All the way up to the Ticat 49. And the Bombers were pressing to score again, so Taylor Powell back to work. Willie Jefferson in his face, but he gets it off complete to Tyreek McAllister, who gets it up across midfield, down to about the Winnipeg 53. And close to a first down. It'll be second and short coming up.
And therein lies the value of a guy like Tyreek McAllister.
That's for you, Mama. See you up there. See you up there. Mama.
You see Malik Carney is having a terrific season for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. But McAllister, a guy you can get the ball to on an outlet. And so good with a little bit of space to go to work in the open field. Able to turn that into a nice gain.
It's a second and short, and Butler has it. Still driving, too, with Brandon Alexander finally able to wrestle him down. Sticks move. First down, Hamilton, with a 13-point lead past the midway point of the third quarter.
And if Hamilton can carry this lead into the fourth, obviously the Bombers are a team that, as they've demonstrated in this game, can strike from anywhere. But it takes the Bombers a little bit out of their comfort zone, which is leading into the fourth and running the ball down your throat to close it out.
Butler again hit a couple of times. Short pickup. Inside the 45. Used to be the Ticats were practically unbeatable at home early on for Orlando Steinauer, and they went 15-3 in 2019 his first year, but tough this season at home, 1-5, the only victory coming over the Ottawa Red Blacks. Then outscored at home 174-100, looking to turn that around in a big way against team that over the last 3 years has been the best. They did it last year, trying to do it again. And that one caught nicely by Keandre Smith, with Demario Houston right with him. And down he goes on that completion at the Winnipeg 30.
Yeah, terrific grab there by the second-year man, Keandre Smith. The Bill Crothers High School. University of Guelph product. Going up to get this one along the sideline.
Come on now. Bring it back in. You ain't done. You ain't done. Let's go.
Great play by Smith, who had 4 catches for 40 yards last week in their victory over the Red Blacks, but none nicer than that. Throwing again and having to reach out for it is Sean Thomas Erlington, who gets up and keeps going. Finally, the whistles blow the play dead, but good work after the catch for the product of the Montreal Canadiens. Gets a first down, 2 for Hamilton, down to 16.
And keep an eye here on the linebacker, Kyrie Wilson. Watch how he's fooled by the action on this play. Thinks it's going run to the far side. He's pursuing way over there. That's what creates a little bit of space out to that boundary side for Sean Thomas Erlington.
Spot the ball at the Winnipeg 18. Here come the Ticats again, looking for more. Back in the red zone, Willie Jefferson sees Powell step up, try to take off. Reddick Cramley pushing him out of bounds. Right back at the close to the line of scrimmage, a flag coming out as well.
Good job. Good play. Good play. Good play. Good play. That's good there. You're good there.
It came out after Cramley pushed Powell as he was heading out of bounds.
Yeah, and I think the feeling, certainly from a Hamilton perspective, was that it was a shove.
Illegal contact. Hamilton number 1. Sorry, Winnipeg number 1. Half distance to the goal. First down.
But that's on the boundary half, Dietrich Nichols for illegal contact.
Yeah, you could hear the officials saying to Cramdy, "You're good," because really what he was doing was holding Powell up, not trying to drive him down.
And with that, just inside the 10 and a first down, first and goal. Ticat offense has been relentless on the day. All those scoring drives, they've only punted twice. And we are late in the third quarter. Taylor Powell swinging it out now to Butler. Rose couldn't get him. As he tries to hurdle Evan Holm, who pushes him out of bounds. Back just inside the 10.
Yeah, fooled the first defender, but wasn't able to trick the second one with the moves. You'll see, got Winston Rose to bite on the first move. Changes up the angle, gets around the corner, but Evan Holm caught him.
Second and goal, Winnipeg 9. And Hamilton add to the lead here. Powell, end zone. It's intercepted. So this time the Bombers answer back with a huge turnover to deny Hamilton from scoring. It is Evan Holm with an all-important interception, his second of the season. And just like Malik Carney denied Winnipeg, Holm denies the Cats. Still a 13-point game.
Okay, let's practice your grab and go. You've got 10 seconds to snag this bonus entry product. Go!
Earn bonus entries with products like Pepsi 12 packs. Shop in store or online.
It will take you there. Wherever there is. And you'll roam further, climb higher, and grip tighter than you've ever imagined. The Chevrolet Silverado ZR2, built to take you where the trail ends, so you can go beyond.
I want something cozy, like a kitten bundled in cashmere.
And I need a firm mattress.
You can have both. We can find you a mattress with the right mix of comfort and support.
At Sleep Country, we solve sleep. The Mix and Match event is on now.
Catch tonight's NCAA college football game of the week between Colorado State and Deion Sanders. Colorado Buffaloes, coverage beginning at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, only on TSN+. Back in Hamilton, and a big turnover for Winnipeg. Evan Holm with his second interception of the season to deny Hamilton from adding to their lead.
And you'll see Tim White here, the intended receiver. He's going to go corner and then back to the post, trying to get Holm to bite on the outside, but Holm doesn't overcommit, able to maintain inside position. Takes away any opportunity for Powell to complete that one. And you know, in the realm of this young quarterback who has demonstrated sort of this poised decision-making ability beyond his years in recent weeks, that time I think he got locked in on his favorite target.
And he knows it. And with that pick in the end zone, it comes out to the Bomber 30. 29-16 still. Late. Final minute. Third quarter. Colares. And that is complete. A short one over the middle for Dalton Schoen. Second and short coming up.
Yeah, quick hitter here. Watch Dembski come across the formation. He's going to go out into the flat, trying to open up a little room inside for Schoen. Pull a defender. Quick hitter there, but Stavros Katsantonis gets in with the wrap. Makes the tackle.
Dakota Prukop in. Short yardage, and he just doesn't want to go down. He's still on his feet. As he had the first down a long time ago, but he drives through about 7 or 8 more yards up near the Winnipeg 50.
Yeah, and Dakota Prukop has kind of become something of a specialist in this league as a short yardage quarterback, a package type guy, but doing it effectively. You get an indication why. He takes great pride in the role. He's had some success doing it. You need a little more air in the lid or tighten up the chin strap a little bit. But
I'll say first one was sideways, that one up a little bit. First and 10, Winnipeg 49 with time. Colares. Up a bit high, intended for Schoen. Simone Lawrence has an interception. Got deflected up, a little tip drill as the veteran linebacker Lawrence comes in.
if he kept this off the ground, we might have the defensive highlight of the year.
That's the end of the third quarter.
Saying no. We'll get another look at that. But they call the field. The throw deflected up by Katsantonis. They're saying no catch now. Still though, heading to the final 15. Hamilton leads Winnipeg by 13 in the Hall of Fame game. Reception for Simone Lawrence off the deflection. Catches the ball, but you do see it touch the ground. The decision from the command center is this.
After review by the command center, the ruling on the field stands. The second down.
So Lawrence back on the field as the Bombers retain possession. Well, we go from that linebacker to this one, and one of the best that the CFL has ever seen from the class of 23, Hall of Famer Solomon Elamimian, now the president of the CFL Players Association. But look at that resume. So impressive, too. The one that stands out is the MOP, first and only defensive player named the most outstanding player in the Canadian Football League. Solly, congratulations. We knew this was coming for a long time. What does it mean to you?
It means a lot. The Canadian Football League is very special to me and my family. Helped me through some tough times. Growing up in Los Angeles, and to have my family here, being recognized for your accomplishments, it's an honor. It's a blessing. I'm truly humbled.
You mentioned growing up, and tell us a little bit about what the game of football has meant to you, not just since you've been in the CFL, but throughout your life.
Yeah, growing up in inner city LA, obviously had a lot of challenges, and football was one thing that I clung to, the one thing that kind of gave me a purpose, gave me meaning, and I knew I was good at, and I just rolled it to the wheels, fell off, and it helped me learn. It helped me become a great young man. So I'm forever grateful to God to bless me with the skills of playing football. And yeah, it's a great honor.
See Zach Collaros there with the throw, and this one is an interception for the Ticats, and the 3rd and 3 games for safety Stavros Katsantonis. So Hamilton, Taylor Powell coming back on the field, and they're at the 23. Well, remember Team 100 with the BC Lions. You wore 56 then, Adam Bighill 44, and I know it meant a lot playing with him, just as it meant a lot to him. He was, of course, here with the Bombers, and look at that photo taken as well of you. What's it meant in your career playing along with Adam Bighill?
Oh, it is fantastic. Adam is a great competitor and a great friend. And, off season, training with him and playing with him, we could compete against each other and we motivate each other. And I truly believe that I helped him get better just like he helped me get better. And, that bond we had on the football field is a great bond off the football field. And Adam is still gone. He's a tremendous player. And I told him in 10 years or whenever he's ready to retire, he'll be up there and I'll be right next to him.
That's a lot of hardware in that picture, so. And so now the president of the Canadian Football League Players Association, so continuing to help other players. Tell me what's driven you to that? What is your motivation to get so involved with the union?
Well, the biggest thing is just how important Canadian football is, right? Not just for Canadian players, for American players, and making sure that continues, and making sure that, I leave it better than, that I found it, right? And being president, I can help the players, and I can also drive the vision of growth, off the field as well.
It was a short gain by Tim White. They picked up the flag, so it's a 2nd and long coming up here for Taylor Powell and the Ticats, joined up here in the booth by Hall of Famer Solomon Elamimian. Powell throwing in 2nd down, and that's complete. Got one again with a touchdown in this game for the Cats, ridden out of bounds by the Marriott Houston. Those years, when you look back, the tackling
he ripped and then he got to the quarterback. I didn't think it was good.
Like, what are you most proud of as you look back to your playing days?
There's no bigger high than football, and there's no bigger high than the adversity. Tearing my Achilles in 2015 after winning MOP, and reading in the pages that it's hard to come back from Achilles injuries, it motivated me, and I went back in the lab. My family was there for me, my friends was there for me, and I made it back. 2016 won Defense Player of the Year. So the adversity is a great thing because you get to prove yourself right, prove the people that love you right, and that's one thing that I will miss about playing football.
1st and 10 of the Ticat, 48 now. Hamilton with a 13-point lead. Early 4th quarter in a short game. James Butler.
Well, we got to take a look at some highlights. Do you remember some of these as you look at the plays?
Yeah, I definitely get goosebumps. How physical it is, and yeah, you miss it. You miss competing at a highest level.
Standing up against Chris Krebler there, and then with the Bombers, and of course the Grey Cup victory too in 2011 in a victory over Winnipeg. High point to be sure on a 2nd and 6, and that one falls incomplete as they got some heat on Taylor Powell again.
And I know the Hall of Fame, obviously this is a new experience for you, but have you had a chance to kind of reflect on it? As Rod mentioned, the only defensive player ever to be named MOP. Like, we're not talking about a league that just started a few years ago. We're talking about a league over 100 years old, and you're the only guy to do that. What do you think?
It's amazing. You know, it's a testament to you know, God and my family, and I had tremendous teammates and coaches. The great Wally Bono, Mike Benavides, Mark Washington, who's the defense coordinator here today. You know, teammates, you mentioned Adam Big Hill, Dante Marsh, Corey Banks, Ryan Phillips, Travis, just so many players that I played with that were, you know, Hall of Fame caliber players, and you know, Hall of Fame men that taught me the game of football, right? And we competed with each other, and it was a true brotherhood. So I had all the ingredients to be successful, is what I tell people.
Punt by Vidvik, and the short return there by Jamal Parker. Hall of Famer Solomon Elimimian. Thanks for joining us up here. Congratulations again.
So well deserved.
Inducted last night here at Tim Hortons Field in Hamilton. In the class of 2023, among the 7 enshrined permanently in the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. We'll be back. The Hall of Fame game, Gene, is coming up next. BC Place in Vancouver. Ottawa Red Blacks, perilous now for them after their loss at home to Hamilton last week up against the Lions. 2nd place, chasing Winnipeg, and I'm sure Lions fans taking interest in what has been going on here at Hamilton with the Ticats leading early and leading all the way so far. Zach Collaros in the 2nd half, 4 for 9, just 49 yards. He's been picked off twice. And he's looking deep left side. Flag coming out through the hands of Brady Oliveira, and incomplete.
Yeah, Brady Oliveira, a guy who has a string of 100-yard rushing games this season, also has a 100-yard receiving game to his credit here in 2023. So can't be lulled to sleep by the idea that he's always going to be in the backfield.
Flag coming out after Collaros threw that ball. Starting back under 14.
Illegal contact. Hamilton, number 49. 10-yard penalty. Result is a first down.
Defensive end Trey Crawford called for the illegal contact, so good break for the Bombers there as it'll move up a first down near the 25.
Crawford coming from the top right corner of your screen. Stand up D end. Taking a shot at the receiver as he was attempting to release.
First and 10 on the move. Rasheed Bailey with a lot more up across the 45 and another first down as Bailey's fired up.
Yeah, and I love the touches that Rasheed Bailey gets in the running game for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Again, so many receivers, one ball to go around that you may not catch quite as many passes as you want sometimes. But you can see that this is a guy who, when he gets an opportunity to touch the rock, however those touches come, he's relishing it and making the most of it.
Up to the 47 now. Kenny Lawler hit a touchdown in the first half. Little play fake to Oliveira. And coverage is there on Dembski. That was Elliott draped on top of him there to knock it away. A second down coming up.
Yeah, big defensive play there from Elliott. Free agent signee by the Ticats this offseason, as I mentioned earlier. Couple seasons in Calgary, but limited opportunity for him to get on the field with the Stampeders. Comes to Hamilton in a time where basically they were rebuilding their secondary. Veterans Jamal Roll, Carriel Brooks moving out of Steeltown, created an opportunity that Elliott has seized here.
Big second down, Winnipeg coming up from their 47. Collaros, he completes it to Dembski, but he gets it well shy of a first down up across the 50, and a third down coming up for the Bombers. Jamison Sheehan in the punting unit comes on. defense done a very good job in this second half against Zach Collaros, who led an offense down the field quickly several times in that first half.
Yeah, tightening up and coming up with some very timely big plays of their own after being victimized in the opening 30 minutes.
Sheen with the punch. And no yards called. Coverage going right in there on McAllister just as he caught the ball. So tack on 15 for Taylor Powell. Overall, impressive start. 13-point lead, fourth quarter in Hamilton.
I'll give the new stuff a listen.
Okay.
But I'm a sympathy for the devil guy as far as the Stones go.
There you go. You like your old Rolling Stones?
Yes, sir. Yes, any of my former Calgary teammates will understand the significance.
You just keep going, don't you? James Butler stopped there by Jake Thomas. Back here at Tim Hortons Field, part one of a doubleheader, the Hall of Fame game, with Hamilton leading it. And second straight year, they are stunning the Bombers. Did it last year, 48-31. And trying to hang on and win this one. We get Red, Blacks, and Lions coming up after this. An impressive performance.
Yeah, it's already been a fantastic weekend of CFL football. Looking forward to having it continue with game 2 of today's doubleheader.
He's shy of the Hamilton 20. Second and 11, Taylor Powell. Getting pushed out of the pocket. Nowhere to go. He steps back up, though, and goes to his left, and he does throw it, and it is complete at the first down marker for Tyreek McAllister. Brilliant work there by Powell, who didn't seem to have any options, but found one anyway.
Yeah, and, you know, I don't want to overstate it, but there are plays that Taylor Powell is making now after basically being the Ticats starter for a third of a season that guaranteed he wasn't making a month ago. That you can just see the confidence growing in his game. Some of the decisions he makes, some of the throws that he makes. Where before he might have held on to that ball, tried to run and get what he gets instead of trying to thread the needle.
Back to Butler. Has some room inside, too, as he pushes that up near the 40. So in addition to that score, this Hamilton possession, you do start to pay attention a little more in a 2-score game to that clock as we're winding our way through closer to the halfway point of the fourth quarter.
And James Butler looking to be hobbling a little bit as he heads to the sidelines.
Sean Thomas Erlington is the running back in for Butler. A big 2nd and 2 here for Hamilton. Is shy of the 40. And he is denied. He'll be shy of a first down, so an interesting third down will be coming up. They're still about a yard away now.
Yeah, watch for Adam Bighill, the veteran middle linebacker, to come shooting through and make the play here. Found a gap into the legs of the quarterback. You see Bighill coming from in behind, hits the gap, meets the running back, and stops him short.
And the punting unit does come on. 13-point lead, and they don't want to give Winnipeg any edges at all. As the pressure mounts on the Bombers, down by those 13 points. Bedvigan to punt it away just outside the Hamilton 25. Jamal Parker back for it. Winnipeg without a point in the second half. Parker from the 23. And gets up across the 30, about the 32. Back comes Collaros, a late flag. Star running back C.J. Gable, who was there for 4+ seasons, 2013. And through some of the 2017 season, he's helping Pigskin Pete through the Oski Wee Wee. Their Coors Light moment of chill. A nice moment there for a talented running back in the CFL for years in C.J. Gable.
Yeah, absolutely. Part of the Ticats backfield with Zach Collaros in the day as they went to the Grey Cup game in 2014.
Bombers, after a penalty, start in better shape across the 45. Oh, is that intercepted again? It is. Kenneth George with it. Third pick thrown by Zach Collaros. And that Hamilton offense is coming back on.
Well, there were those worries about the young guys in the Hamilton secondary, but one of those rookies, Kenneth George, comes up with the pick here. It's Collaros under pressure, and you saw Brady Oliveira, the intended target, slipped as he goes down. The ball sails over his head. George finds himself in the right place at the right time. Ticats gifted the ball at the 45-yard line of the Blue Bombers.
By 13, 6:31 and counting on the clock in the fourth quarter. And a great opportunity for the Ticats to put this away if they can find the end zone again. Pressure's coming, ball is out. Ball's out, and it's in no one's hands yet. Yes, it is now. Brandon Alexander with it as it rolled around. And a late flag comes out. So once again, we see a team forcing a turnover and quickly giving it back. Winnipeg football in the Hamilton zone after they brought the heat on Taylor Powell.
Yeah, you're going to see all sorts of pressure come. Eventually, it's Kyrie Wilson who supplies the hit, but you've also got Brandon Alexander coming on the safety blitz from the outside. Is going to contain that. 2 rushers, 1 blocker. Didn't get the inside guy. So Wilson's got a short line to get there.
After the play, we have a 10-yard misconduct foul on Winnipeg number 37. The Winnipeg ball, first down.
You saw Tyreek McAllister in the backfield, part of that protection scheme. He's got 2 rushers coming. You've got to take the inside guy, the guy who has the shortest line to the quarterback. He opts to take Alexander, who is on the outside, leaving Wilson with the short line to get there. And you'll see McAllister in protection. 2 guys come outside of him. Takes the outside one.
So back to Winnipeg now. Collaros, who had 3 intercepted on his previous 7 attempts, completes one there to Nick Dembski up near a first down. They had been pushed back 10 yards after the Alexander recovery. 37 was penalized in the celebration.
Well, Winnipeg looking to go tempo here a little bit. Second and short.
And throwing on that second down. Completing it 2, coming back for the ball is Dalton Schoen. And around the Ticat 45, first down Winnipeg. Clock ticking down towards 5 minutes, under 5.5. They work tempo. And needing the end zone soon.
Yeah, good timing on the tempo call, just with that quick change of momentum back and forth.
Looking to the left, and wide open and caught by Schoen inside the 30. Bomber offense quickly moving down the field now, really for the first time this half after a tremendous first half.
Yeah, Hamilton rotating a couple of fresh bodies in defensively here.
Quickly over the ball again, 4:50 on the clock, first and 10. Little pump fake, Collaros buys himself some time, rolling to the right, and throws it, completes it to Kenny Lawler, down near another first down, a couple of yards shy. Just inside the 20. As they keep working tempo.
Yeah, quick look at Zach on the moves. He zings this one out there.
Collaros back again. Coming back and catching it is Lawler again, down around the 10. Another first down on that second down and short conversion. And spotted at the 11-yard line, and a first and 10 coming up here for Winnipeg.
Yeah, and Winnipeg is, we've seen them nickel and dime a little bit on this particular drive. Receivers doing a terrific job coming back to the football, helping out their QB.
Working fast, Brady Oliveira breaks through inside the 5. Gets a little help from his old lineman, pushing him down to a second and short, right around the 3 or 4 yard line. And there they are, back over the ball quickly again. Oliver again, 3-2-1. And no signal. It'd be a first down. They had to get to the 1, so this would be a first and goal.
Well, this was nearly disastrous for Winnipeg after they've marched down there. You see Caleros never had a handle on that football. Oliveira kind of snatched it out of the air as the QB was juggling the snap.
And they signal a touchdown for Winnipeg. Zach Caleros had stayed in the short yardage, and a flag did come out.
Hamilton, number 30. That penalty be declined. Result of the play is a touchdown.
So that was fast. Katsantonis called an offside, but very quick running tempo all the way down the field, capped off by the Zach Caleros touchdown.
Yeah, and you have to like the timing of that decision to go tempo given the circumstance. Hamilton on their heels a little bit with that swing back and forth in the possession, and then the execution of that tempo offense nearly flawless by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
So Castillo is on to make this a 6-point game with this point after try. Very quickly after the fumble was forced by Kyrie Wilson and recovered by Brandon Alexander, Caleros in the offense get it down and into the end zone for a much-needed touchdown in a one-score game. It's back to a 6-point difference with Hamilton still leading.
And take a look at this touchdown drive. Then receivers working back to the ball, making themselves available for their quarterback. There's Schoen coming back. Had Lawler coming back for one along the sidelines after Schoen picks up the first down. Earlier in this game, it was all about the big play. But here it was high percentage, nickel and dime, just running that tempo offense to perfection, preserving time as we get late in this ball game. Now, Rod, you look at the score, 6-point game. Remember back to that 3-point swing, right, where Winnipeg missed an extra point in the first half. Tyreek McAllister returned it the other way for 2 points. So now we're looking at a 6-point game where they could have been looking at a situation where they just needed a field goal to tie. Well, now the Blue Bombers need a touchdown because of that missed extra point.
Looming a lot larger now, but it was an 8-play, 58-yard drive in under 3 minutes. And they are within 6 as McAllister has it in his hands again. Tyreek McAllister, and he is taken down quickly. Charging in on special teams, Johnny Augustine with a big tackle as Powell and the offense coming back on again. Product of the University of Guelph, Johnny Augustine.
Yeah, backup running back. Augustine doing a terrific job for the Bombers on special teams. Had over 50 yards rushing last week, spelling Brady Oliveira in the second half of that ball game in the backfield as well. Underrated player in this league.
Getting down near the 3-minute warning in this fourth quarter. What drama do we have in store now? Winnipeg getting closer. Big possession, Ticats here in their zone, and a good tackle of Butler. In there is Retta Kramdi, the strong side linebacker. Hall of Fame game, and another look at the 7 new inductees, the class of 2023. Congratulations to them all, immortalized here. Now as they get ready, John Bowman, one of the 7 Hall of Famers back in Vancouver, to coach that BC defensive line after he was enshrined here last night. So here's Taylor Powell. Last time out, he was hit. It forced a fumble, and the Bombers took it in for a touchdown to close the Ticat lead down to 6. It's a 2nd and 7. For that short gain by James Butler. 2:48 on the clock. The Bombers lost here in the Hall of Fame game in Hamilton last year. They haven't won in Hamilton in regulation since 2017. Didn't talk about it too much in the week leading up, but a few players brought it up. They know all about it. Powell, 2nd and 7, rolls out. Had a big completion for a first down to Omar Bayless. What a touchdown in week 1 against Winnipeg, in Winnipeg, but on special teams, just his 2nd start as a receiver with the Ticats.
And nice play call here as they bring Tyreek McAllister into the box. It becomes a 2-back protection. Butler on the front side of that as they roll it out. shorten up the throw. McAllister blocking on the backside. Scott Milanovic continuing to put his quarterback in a position to be successful.
Up across the 35. Hamilton Tiger Cats trying to do it to Winnipeg again in the Hall of Fame game. Final minutes. Butler. He keeps pushing after contact and gets it up near the 40, so pick up a 4 yards, a 2nd and 6 coming up, and these second downs just keep getting bigger for both sides as Winnipeg needs a stop. And Hamilton would love nothing more than to kill a lot more time on the clock, keep that offense on the field.
Yeah, try and grind it out as best as they can with James Butler, high percentage passes like you saw in the last second down play. Try and keep that clock moving.
Both teams coming off wins last week. The Ticats, who have 5 wins on the year, trying to make it 3 in 4 weeks. And the hurdle there from Butler on the second down play doesn't get much. 3rd down coming up. They're going to have to kick it away.
And not much there. Up the middle on second down for the Tiger Cats. They opted to stay conservative with that particular second down play. The result is punting it back to the Bombers with all sorts of time for Zach Lars.
Mike O'Shea hasn't been overly thrilled with their return game since the injury to Janarian Grant, who was lights out. Had Greg McRae for a while and going with Jamal Parker now, but if ever they needed a Janarian Grant-like return, now would be a good time for Winnipeg with Vedvik to punt it. Just outside his 30. And sending it right. And Parker. And the no-yards penalty is coming up. Carthel Flowers Lloyd was in that 5-yard restraining zone, so tack on 15 yards. Caleros comes out, and they do have plenty of time. 21 career game-winning drives, and he has a chance now. Under 2 minutes to go, 1:40 on the clock. They need a touchdown.
Yeah, that's a costly 15 under the circumstances. Basically, you look at the time on the clock, and that's saving Winnipeg a couple of plays is basically what that penalty is doing.
Another dramatic finish in the Canadian Football League. Winnipeg down, 4-man rush. Caleros, nowhere to go, they got him. Caleros goes down. Craig Crawford was in there. And Casey Sales, too. And what a time for a sack. 2nd and long coming up Winnipeg.
Yeah, watch Crawford coming from the right side of that defensive line towards the top of your screen. He and Sales, the next man inside. I think it was Sales with the bull rush that maybe got to the ankles of the quarterback.
Throwing? No. In and out of the hands of Rasheed Bailey. A low throw as Bailey was down. And we're down to 3rd and long coming up.
Tiger defense has been big in this second half and continuing here. That one with Bailey going to the turf. You could see hit the shoulder pads before he was able to get his hands on it. Hard surface leads to a hard bounce. Wasn't able to control the football.
Fans on their feet at Tim Hortons Field. Ticats want some noise. 3rd and 15. This is it for the Bombers. 1:25 on the clock. 4-man rush. Steps up and heaves it deep. Into coverage. Deflected off, incomplete. And the Ticats, with a 6-point lead, will take over on downs.
Defensive line again supplying the pressure. You can see the Ticats are set to only go with a 4-man rush. They'll give up anything underneath with 15 yards to go. Flores tries to push it deep. He's had a lot going to Dembski, but Matsantonis, Lawson, and on the play on the ball. Fortunate the deflection didn't go in the direction of Nick Dembski, who was in behind them.
And the Bombers are facing their second loss in 3 games with one absolutely dominant victory in between. Ticats, as mentioned, trying to finish off their 3rd win in 4 games. 1:16 on the clock. They run it. James Butler just inside the Winnipeg 40. It was 3 weeks ago in Vancouver. The Ticats went in as underdogs and they beat the BC Lions. Came home on Labor Day Monday and lost to the Argos, and on 3 days rest beat the Red Blacks last week in Ottawa. Their 5th win, getting up to 5-7. And looking to tie the Montreal Alouettes in the East Division standings. The Owls do have the tiebreaker, mind you, winning the season series so far, taking both games. But still, this would be to tie them with 12 points in the East. He gets it inside the 30. Looks like another first down for Hamilton. Killing that clock in the final minute.
Outstanding run here from James Butler. You watch how the sprint action kind of gets the defense going sideways, opens up some gaps. Butler picks his gap, turns it north, and watch the legs continue to drive for positive yards. A 3rd and short situation where the Cats are obviously going to go for it.
24 years of age, Taylor Powell. As Kyle Loxley comes in, 3rd down and inches. The clock ticks, 35 seconds to go. Long count Loxley. And pushes, second effort, should be enough to put this game to bed.
Here we get it. Great look at Loxley, getting just what he needs. Haba slipping into the backfield, but couldn't get enough of him. Just a yard to go.
Intense young man. And as you talked about, it seems when we talked to him, mature beyond his years as Loxley comes out. Sticks come in just to confirm this is a first down. As it is by half of the ball. Well, they can start to celebrate now for sure. 24 seconds. They hang on to the football. And they're about to win for the 3rd time in 4 games. Get up to 6 and 7. And Willie Jefferson and the Bombers still first in the West Division, but faced with, for the 2nd straight year in the Hall of Fame game, being beaten by the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Victory formation.
And you see the youngster Taylor Powell. This is a guy who bounced around 3 different universities in his college career, and he talked to us this week about how that experience really helped prepare him for this, needing to learn new systems quickly, needing to be able to adapt to new situations fairly quickly, adjust to whatever's thrown at you. And it served him well here in his rookie season with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Back-to-back wins.
Great year, Dwayne Ford. On the Hall of Fame game, the underdog Ticats beat the favorite Winnipeg Blue Bombers. This time with a rookie quarterback, Taylor Powell, and a defense that really rose up in the second half. The Bombers